Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Lami Ali, and we begin with security. Troops of the Nigerian Army, in synergy with the Department of State Services (DSS), have foiled terrorist attack in Kano. In a statement, Director Army Public Relations Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu says a raid operation on the terrorist hideout in the early hours of Friday, 3rd November 2023, apprehended the criminals in Gezawa local government area of Kano State. The operation uncovered suspected Boko Haram terrorists believed to be planning a major operation in Kano State. Several arms were recovered from the criminals. The Nigerian Army enjoined the public to provide timely intelligence reports to security agencies to aid ongoing operations to curb insecurity. Now, following reported attacks by suspected Boko Haram insurgents on some communities in Gaidam local government area, Yobe State Security Council has tasked security agencies to redouble efforts by dominating the entire area to ensure that criminal elements do not have space to oppress citizens of the state. The council gave the charge through Special Advisor on Security Matters, Brigadier General Dahiru Abdulsalam, retired, in a media briefing shortly after holding an emergency security meeting to review and adopt new strategies to curb pockets of attacks on soft targets around Gaidam axis. Yunusa Suleiman brings us the details.
The Special Advisor to the Governor on Security Matters, Brigadier General Dahiru Abdulsalam, retired, while briefing newsmen about the outcome of the emergency security meeting, says the meeting, which was presided over by Governor Buni, has taken note of emerging security issues confronting the state. Such issues, he added, were thoroughly discussed and deliberated upon, hence far-reaching measures have been taken to enhance the security of lives and property of citizens of the state.
It's true, we have had some cases of Boko Haram attack in parts of Gaidam local government area. The attacks were targeted at soft targets by the insurgents, and in which we have recorded some casualties. The security agencies have made commitment to redouble their effort so that peace and stability will reign in the state.
He, however, called on people to remain vigilant and report suspicious movement and persons in their communities. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Now, federal government is determined to start the implementation of the Presidential Steering Committee plans on Nigeria's Safe Schools project. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, gave this indication at the National Summit on Safe Schools put together by the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in Abuja. Dennis Temple completes the report.
These key players in the education sector gathered here to find lasting solutions to end the incessant attacks on school children across the country. Representative of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Professor Bolaji Babatunde, Interior Minister Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, and other stakeholders underscore the importance of education to national development and outline measures to enhance security, which will ultimately improve the enrollments of students in schools.
The government is resolute in its commitment to curtailing attacks on our schools and eradicating insecurity.
For me, to secure our schools, we must leverage on intelligence, because intelligence makes planning precise. and it makes actions quite.
I took a step to conduct a vulnerability survey study where we commissioned some research fellows, and the data revealed was so shocking.
The theme of the summit is tackling and identifying threats to Nigeria's Safe School project.
This meeting is very important, it's very critical. That is why the Commissioner of Education, make sure that I'm here, that as this program continues, I'll be able to get the necessary steps to take to ensure that this Safe School project reaches Taraba.
Over 300 participants, including children drawn from selected schools, attended the workshop in Abuja. Dennis Temple, NTA News.
Now, Ekiti State Government is partnering Tertiary Education Fund, TET Fund, for improved education in the state. The state governor, who was at the fund's headquarters to solicit the collaboration, maintained that even without the state government's request, the fund's footprint in public institutions of the state is commendable.
Everybody knows Ekiti State to be a state of intellectuals. And we believe strongly that if people are educated and they have the right mix of knowledge, they'll be productive. And we also believe strongly that the antidote to poverty is productivity. But for you to be productive, you must have the right skills. And this is where education comes in, and this is where TET Fund is playing a very big role.
We look forward to deepening that partnership, to collaborating with institutions in your state to take forward the great work that our president has brought on board to renew the hope for our people.
Apart from physical infrastructure, the TET Fund has in the past years added content to public institutions in the country. Now, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has promised to ensure the conduct of credible governorship elections in Bayelsa State come November 11th. The chairman of the electoral umpire made the promise after interacting with members of the Senate Committee on INEC and the House of Representatives counterparts who are on an oversight visit to Bayelsa State to assess the level of preparations ahead of the polls in the state. Aya Prizi reports.
The off-cycle governorship polls in Bayelsa State are just a few days away, and all eyes are on the electoral umpire to deliver credible polls. INEC chairman, who is on a working visit to the state, assures Bayelsans that the commission is poised to conduct a free and fair polls.
And our message all across is simple. Staff must be dedicated to this process. We have no candidate in the election. The choice of who becomes the governor of Bayelsa State should be left to voters in Bayelsa State. And our assurance is that we will protect the process.
To further ensure the credibility of the process, the Senate Committee on INEC and the House of Representatives counterpart are in Bayelsa State in exercise of its oversight on the level of preparedness of INEC. And here are the observations and advice of the committee after a robust engagement with the election umpire.
And from what we have seen so far, the only advice we give is to ask them to not to relent or rest on their hours.
Election does not warrant the life of anybody. We should go by the rules. INEC has done its own best.
Elections will be conducted in 2,242 polling units in Bayelsa State, and voters shall be accredited electronically through BVAS. In Yenagoa, Aya Prezi, NTA News.
Traditional rulers in the country have not relented in their quest to complement government efforts in solving some of the myriads of challenges in a bid for recognition in the nation's constitution. This issue resonated at the 12th National Development Mega Summit of Traditional Rulers in Abuja. Of paramount importance to the royal fathers, a paradigm shift that will urgently address the insecurity in the country and national rebirth that can reposition Nigeria towards greatness.
An insecure environment impinges directly on meaningful socio-economic development as it disenfranchises communities, undermines planning, destabilizes the economy, heightens poverty.
University lecturer delivered paper on prognosis of terrorism and security in Nigeria, effects on national development and conceivable countermeasures. Now, Borno State Environmental Protection Agency has made the state's monthly sanitation exercise competitive with trophies and sundry awards to be won. The exercise is now characterized by a large turnout of people, including members of the State Executive Council. Marjana Hassan reports on the outlook of the conduct of the event and presentation of awards to deserving individuals.
Since inception, the administration of Governor Babagana Umar Zulum in Borno State has reintroduced the monthly sanitation exercise as a core mandate towards ensuring a sustainable, healthy society through clean environment. The responsibility of achieving this mandate is vested on Borno State Environmental Protection Agency, which has upscaled efforts and collaboration with critical stakeholders in the environmental sector to usher in a healthier environmental culture. The exercise, which is under the supervision of Commissioner of Environment with strong security operatives and, of course, the media, does not only stop at ensuring cleaning and evacuation of drainages, but also monitoring and apprehending those dealing with hard drugs and other illicit acts inimical to the society. In an effort to consolidate the success stories, the Environmental Protection Agency, BOSEPA, celebrated the effort of the State Governor, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, traditional and religious leaders, security, the media, as well as clubs and associations, by presenting them with awards of honor for excellence performance. In Maiduguri, Marjana Hassan, NTA News.
Now, joining us live from Maiduguri is our correspondent, Zainab Adam. Hello, Zainab. Tell us the secrets behind the success of the public sanitation policy of the Borno State Environmental Protection Agency, BOSEPA.
86, but then the present administration has the residents, including dignitaries and stakeholders, actively supporting the environmental sanitation exercise in the overall interest of survival in good health. Different clubs, stakeholders and associations were honored with sanitation trophies yesterday. With me here is the General Manager of Borno State Environmental Protection Agency, BOSEPA, Abubakar Suleiman, who is going to tell us what the agency is doing to sustain the monthly sanitation exercise towards attaining a healthy ecosystem, especially with the present challenges of the climate change. Sir, what have you been doing to sustain the monthly environmental sanitation exercise?
Thank you very much. You see, this monthly sanitation exercise has bounced back, which has been circulated since 1986 under the able leadership of our Governor, Professor Umar Zulum, FNI. So we are doing all it takes to see how we maintain the tempo of monthly sanitation exercise, because we say a clean environment is a healthy environment.
Okay, sir, what approach does your agency have regarding polythene disposal? Because a research shows that it takes polythene or plastic bags 20 to 500 years to decompose, and it's often leads to the release of methane, which is hazardous to animal and human.
A program is underway right now to see how we can convert all these polythene bags, all these waste to waste. So program has been started, and inshallah, with no distant time, this program will be achievable to mitigate this era of climate change, to see how we can mitigate climate change issue, which affects the entire world or globally.
Okay, sir, what assurance do you have to the public that you are going to sustain this tempo, especially regarding the monthly sanitation exercise going forward?
When you see every day is sanitation for us, where the monthly sanitation exercise is just like a ceremonial exercise where people have to adopt the culture and tolerance of sanitation activities. Also, sensitization is very paramount, where we go out and sensitize people to see or to tell them the importance of sanitation, the importance of how we should maintain our environment clean, so that our environment should be very healthy, free from all sorts of diseases.
And that does it from here. My name is Zainab Adam.
Thank you very much. We hope other states will copy from what Borno State government is doing there. Indeed, health is wealth. We now move to Adeola Kamiakere in Lagos for continuation of Nationwide. It's over to you, Adeola.
Thank you, Lami. The Lagos International Trade Fair, regarded as one of the largest international exhibitions in West Africa, has kicked off in Lagos. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, who declared the 10-day event open, said the current administration will initiate policies that will expedite transformation of the nation's economy for job creation. Joel Popola completes the report.
The trade fair has always been an avenue to promote commerce, create value and foster collaborations among key players in the manufacturing industry to create value. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Doris Anite, emphasized on the need for adoption of new innovation to accelerate the development of the Nigerian economy and improve the country's gross domestic product. She said the current administration is determined to revive ailing industries in the country by providing the enabling environment and stimulus to encourage production and create jobs.
As we embark on this journey together, let us all be reminded of the immense responsibility that comes with our roles as custodians of the economic prosperity. Our small and medium-sized enterprises are the lifeblood of our economy. They are the engines that power our growth and innovation.
Chairman of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry said this year's trade fair will be a milestone that will sustain the growth trajectory being recorded in Nigerian economy.
The theme for this year's trade fair is connecting businesses, creating value. This reflects the reality we face and in a different sense underscores the determination of the Nigerian business community.
Lagos International Trade Fair is also expected to attract foreign direct investment into the country. In Lagos, Joel Ukbola, NTA News.
Contractor handling the Blue Line rail system has been given a 30-month deadline to deliver the second phase of the project from Mile 2 to Okokomaiko along Lagos-Badagry Expressway. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu disclosed this at the official inauguration of Yaba Overpass Bridge, which eliminates vehicular movements on train-level crossing in the axis. Musa Toliat has the details.
The collision between a Lagos State staff bus and a train on PWD railway crossing on March 9 this year was a wake-up call to avert a future reoccurrence. The Yaba Overpass Bridge is, however, one of the 5 bridges completed by the Lagos State government in order to separate vehicular and train traffic on the Red Line rail track. The event presented a platform for Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to reaffirm commitment towards the completion of the Red Line rail system by the end of the year.
We will also be starting the testing on the Red Line before the end of the year, but it's not going to stop at the blue and the red alone. It's my pleasure to announce that 2 additional rail lines. The Green Line is a 68-kilometer rail route from Marina all the way to the Lekki Free Trade Zone. The Purple Line is a 60-kilometer length all the way from Redemption Cap in Ogun State to Ojo, because for a mega city like this, the reduction of greenhouse gas emission, it will make our city one of the best, one of the most resilient, one of the most forward-looking mega city in the entire world.
The Red Line, when opened for passenger operations, will have an exponential effect on the economy of Lagos and the way in which we travel.
Benefits of the project include improvement of traffic flow and enhanced safety of lives and property along the rail corridor.
We want to thank Mr. Governor and want to assure him that the bridge will be well maintained. As I've said, we will not use it for trading, we will not use it for car park.
There will be
security, more security around this, because we want these things to last.
The bridge takes traffic from Muritala Mohammed Way into Ojuelegba Road over the rail tracks. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Lagos for now. Ladidi in Maiduguri Network Center will be bringing us the next set of reports after this time out to stay.
Welcome to Maiduguri. Good to have you join us. The vision the late Premier of Northern Nigeria, Sir Ahmadu Bello, lived for, and legacies he bequeathed have remained unsurpassed, and in them lies the panacea toward a more united and prosperous northern region. This came to the fore at the inauguration of the local organization committee for the 9th annual Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Lecture, scheduled to hold in Maiduguri next year. Zainab Adam reports.
The Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation was established in 2009 to provide educational and livelihood support to individuals in line with the vision of the late Sardauna of Sokoto, Sir Ahmadu Bello. Borno State capital, Maiduguri, is built to host the 9th edition of the lecture, hence tag Maiduguri 2024. Secretary to the State Government, Bukar Tijani, said Sir Ahmadu Bello has left legacies that are worthy of being kept alive for the eternal benefits of northern Nigeria and beyond.
I would suggest that in our subsequent write-ups, we have the event numbering so that we can remember to say this. But for those who don't know when it started, they will be able to say this is the 20th, 30th, 60th,
Director General of Sir Ahmadu Bello Foundation, Abubakar Gambo Umar, and Chairman of the committee in Maiduguri, Malam Fannami, appreciated Governor Babagana Umar Zulum for accepting to host the annual lecture, while assuring to organize a befitting lecture that will center around good governance, security, and economic prosperity, among other issues, come January 2024.
We think is going to be discussed, very relevant, has to do with exemplary achievements of the government of Borno State, which you think we need to showcase to the world.
The forum encouraged citizens to continue identifying unifying factors to keep northern Nigeria and the nation as a whole united. In Maiduguri, Zainab Adam, NTA News.
The education sector in Yobe State is recording gradual transaction in response to declaration of state of emergency aimed at bequeathing a functional system of education for today and future generations. This time, the Yobe State Education Trust Fund, a component of the strategy adopted to turn around the fortunes of education, is reaching out to schools across the state with needed interventions to strengthen education and non-academic activities. Adam Yusuf reports.
Yobe State government has in the last 4 years been investing resources on education with the aim of reviving lost glory of the sector. Aside deliberate policies and programs initiated, infrastructure and manpower needs to help drive the reform agenda in the area where accorded desired attention. The Yobe State Education Trust Fund, which is a critical component conceived under the State of Emergency Initiative, is delivering facilities such as boreholes, chairs and decks, toilet facilities to some schools across the state to ensure conducive learning atmosphere.
On behalf of other principals, I'm using this medium to also appreciate the effort of the state government. Yeah. It has gone a long way in helping us to further our student education.
This is a remarkable work done by Education Appeal Fund and Yobe State at large.
Chairman of the fund, Engineer Bukar Muhammad Kachalla Ali, who led the team to hand over the facilities to the school's authorities, says it is in the dream of the community to actualize revitalization of education in the state for better society.
We intervene by direct labor, engaging state institutions and the persons and school-based management committees to get the works done rather than give contracts.
Out of the 25 billion naira appeal fund launched by the Yobe State government, only 1.6 billion was realized, thereby slowing down implementation of the desired programs and projects in the education sector. In Damaturu, Adam Yusuf, NTA News.
Those are the trending stories from here for now. Nationwide continues with Lami in Abuja. Don't go away.
Thank you, Ladidi. The House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream is set to carry out a comprehensive audit of the petrol subsidy regime to authenticate the payments made by the federal government and the beneficiaries. Chairman of the committee, Chinyere Kogwanu, made this known at its inaugural sitting. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ikmen reports.
Fuel subsidy is gone, with ripple effects on the economy and the masses. But lawmakers are bent on reviewing the subsidy regime and pursuing recovery of unremitted revenues accruing to the federal government in the petroleum sector.
The pre-export financing arrangement and other loan arrangements in exchange for crude will be extensively reviewed and investigated. The direct sale, direct purchase, using the crude to bring in the PMS and other value chain associated with them will also be reviewed.
Meanwhile, more House committees hold inaugural sittings with assurances to enhance the health, welfare and socio-economic well-being of Nigerians across critical sectors.
We are going to push and advocate that malaria drugs be subsidized, if not made free, at all government health centers.
We will engage MDAs under the Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology in discussions about policies, programs and budgets needed to boost science, technology, innovation sector in the country.
Whether it is enhancing the airport infrastructure, optimizing air traffic management, or advancing aviation safety protocol, we are committed to creating an enabling environment for the aviation industry.
The census budget and census preparation, they've gone over 80%. So for anyone to say that should just go by the way, it is highly unacceptable.
The various committees promise robust legislative oversight for checks and balances on the activities of government ministries, departments and agencies. From the National Assembly, Mitari Ikmen, NTA News.
Now, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACAN, is collaborating with state Muslim pilgrims' welfare boards to scale up advocacy for pilgrims to speed up payments of 4.5 million naira as initial deposit for Hajj 2024. This was at the meeting of NACAN with chairman and secretaries of state and FCT Muslim pilgrims' welfare boards in Abuja. The commission is concerned over the slow pace of the deposits, which will affect remittance of reasonable percentage of funds as directed by the Saudi authorities to its coffers in order to secure slots allocated to respective states.
I call on all of us to cooperate, that we can only achieve success if we work as a team, as partners, to ensure that, of course, the renewed hope that we come with translates into action. Nothing is new, and we're not going to reinvent the wheel. There are always rooms for improvement. Things could have been done differently before that had given different results. But of course, if there is a shift, we want a new result, we have to strategize differently.
Saudi Arabia mandates every Hajj mission worldwide that intends to participate in the 2024 Hajj to remit a certain percentage of funds to its latest January, as visa issuance will be closed by the end of the first quarter of 2024, failure of which it will disqualify any such country. To health matters now, as COVID-19 and other pandemics take the center stage globally, conversations around HIV and stigmatization seem to have been relegated. The Christian Council of Nigeria, in collaboration with World Council of Churches, are bringing the attention of the Nigerian government to the issues of stigmatization against HIV patients. Kenneth Nanim reports that the groups are clamoring for an enabling law that will protect the rights and privileges of those living with HIV.
This gathering is faith-based, and discussions here are centered around human immune virus HIV and stigmatization against persons living with the disease.
I strongly advocate for the enactment of an enabling law that will make stigmatization of people living with HIV/AIDS a punishable offense in Nigeria if none exists already?
Sometimes we also bring people from other faith communities come and talk about our role, because the pulpit is a very strong place where we can, in our messages and sermons, talk about and educate our people.
Why young people are getting HIV? How are they being exposed? What responses is the community, the government, and the faith sectors giving to young people?
A person living with the virus who wishes to remain anonymous also encouraged those in her shoes to remain resolute in achieving their dreams and overcome self-stigmatization. Participants are expected to intensify collaboration and advocacy on public enlightenment against all forms of discrimination. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Now, Lanre Idowu will lead us as we take stories from Ibadan Network Center. Hello, Idowu, it's over to you.
Good to see you, Lami, and welcome to Ibadan. Wife of Oyo State Governor Tamuno Minini Makinde has emphasized the importance of early detection and proper screening of oneself against cancer as opportunity to the treatment and curative intent. She stated these during her visit to University College Hospital, UCH, Ibadan, in company of members of the First Ladies Against Cancer Initiative of Nigeria in commemoration of the 2023 Cancer Awareness Month. Rafia Animashan Badmos has the details.
First Ladies Against Cancer Initiative, a non-governmental organization, comprises of 7 and past First Ladies in Nigeria with the objective to raise awareness about cancer. For the 2023 Cancer Awareness Month, the initiative chose Oyo State for its campaign with the office of the First Lady of Oyo State. The theme was at the University College Hospital, UCH, where they met with the management of the 66-year-old health institution with a 10 million naira donation to cancer patients at the hospital.
Do self-examination for yourself. Visit your doctor and see if you notice any lump in your breast. You don't have to go to the hospital to do that.
Chairperson of FLAC Initiative and immediate past First Lady of Kebbi State, Zainab Bagudi, says the objective of the organization is to improve the plight of indigent cancer patients and also increase the campaign against cancer.
UCH is one of the premier hospitals of Nigeria. It's a teaching hospital. It's a hospital that has world-class facilities for treating cancer patients.
The money is going to be handed over directly to the patient. It is left for the patient how they will spend it.
With the theme, Close the Care Gap, the advice is for women to get vaccinated against cancer.
Ogun State government has unveiled its compressed natural gas mass transit buses for the use of the general public to ease interstate movement in the Gateway State. Governor Dapo Abiodun says his administration is committed to alleviating the sufferings of the people. Akim Jimo reports.
Governor Dapo Abiodun, who assured of the safety, affordability, accessibility and durability of the buses, says the initiative will help in wealth creation and employment generation.
This will allow us to commence the rapid conversion of commercial public mass transit buses and vehicles. Besides reducing the cost of transportation of goods and services to prices that are lower than before the regulation, this will furthermore and particularly provide training and job opportunities for thousands of our technicians and mechanics across the state.
The Akaribo and paramount ruler of Remoland, Oba Babatunde Ajayi, and others acknowledge that the economic importance of the Laudable project cannot be overemphasized.
This is one of the most effective ways the government can affect our people positively. This is a good step in the right direction.
The governor and his entourage thereafter embarked on the symbolic drive of the buses across Abeokuta, the state capital, amidst cheers and encomium from the people for achieving another feat in the annals of history of the state. In Abeokuta, Hakim Jimo, NTA News.
It's time to join Bilkisu in our Jos Network Center for more on Nationwide after this break. Stay with us. Stay with us.
To Jos. Provost, Federal College of Medical Laboratory Science and Technology, Jos, Professor Sunday Etukudo, says the federal government has approved the training of professionals in molecular biology and forensic science, as well as the introduction of mortuary science towards improving healthcare delivery in the country. Ijoma Ozomina has details.
The Federal College of Medical Laboratory Science and Technology has the mandate of training and development of medical laboratory professionals towards providing accurate diagnosis of diseases and research on emerging diseases, amongst others. Following the recent act establishing the college, the Provost, Professor Sunday Etukudo, assures of repositioning it for optimal performance in medical laboratory science and technology.
The minister has graciously approved that we expand the scope of learning by training people that will graduate as immunologists. We'll also bring in people that will be experts in medical laboratory management as well as in blood banking practice.
While commending President Tinubu on the renewed hope agenda and the appointment of the two ministers of health, the Provost further says a committee has already been set up to work out modalities that will ensure by September 2024 there will be students applying to the college through JAMB.
We are also going to do a recertification for those that have already graduated when the act was not in place.
Professor Etukudo also appreciates the new executives of the non-academic staff union, urging them to strive towards ensuring positive impact in improving the health sector, even as the executives pledge to collaborate with the management for greater productivity of the college and health sector at large.
In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
Owing to the overstretched facilities at the intensive care unit of the Jos University Teaching Hospital, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Defense, Dr. Abubakar Kana, has renovated and equipped intensive care unit with state-of-the-art facilities. Saadat Mohammed Kafa reports.
To the benefit of humanity and for all those that will access services in this intensive care unit of Jos University Teaching Hospital, to God's glory. I now dedicate and commission this.
Facilities provided in the renovated intensive care units include dialysis machine, ventilators, water treatment plant, and a mini theater. This noble gesture by the Permanent Secretary, who is also an alumni of the University of Jos, it contributes towards enhancing quality health care delivery. Management of Jos University Teaching Hospital, touring around the facility, appreciate the effort of the Permanent Secretary, urging others to emulate his gesture.
We implore many whom the Lord has blessed to invest in the infrastructure, in renovation of the hospital.
Most of the things have long been used, and then most of them are faulty, and he was able to fund the bill of having to fix them and then make sure that they are functional. And then majorly we had a problem of a leaking room with the support and then the fund he gave. The room, as you can see, we went in, no more leakage.
In Jos, Saadat Mohammed Kafa, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Jos. It's over to Lami in Abuja for continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Bilkisu. Now, a new chairman that will lead the NUJ NTA Chapel headquarters has emerged. Ruth Aguele reports on the election.
It was a big day for the NTA family, a day that would define the structure for unionism, for staff, for the good of all. No better way to demonstrate commitment and desire for new leadership than to exercise their franchise. Staff, in their numbers, trooped out to cast their ballot for the candidate of their choice. After a seamless process of the exercise, it was time for collation of results. As the anticipation and anxiety bounds between the two contenders vying for the chairmanship position, their supporters could only wish for the best. And the moment came for the results to be announced.
By the power vested in me as the chairman of the Electoral Committee, I hereby declared Abubakar Usman Akwanga the duly elected chairman of the NUJ NTA chapel.
In the spirit of sportsmanship, after all, it is still one big NTA family. And for the newly elected chairman of the NUJ NTA headquarters chapel, Abubakar Akwanga pledged commitment to carry all members of the union along in decision-making.
And for the future of the union, I want to say that the future is secured with us. We will try as much as possible to ensure that we bring in things that will put smiles on the faces of our esteemed congressmen and women.
Let this NUJ chapel make it more vibrant, make it more set agenda. Let it be something that other chapels will envy and emulate.
In fact, it's a win-win for all. One union, one house, one newsroom, and that is what I believe that we have gotten.
A new chapter for the NTA NUJ chapel, with vigor to lead the union to the next level for the well-being of the staff. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
Congratulations to the newly elected officials of the NUJ. Meanwhile, the leadership of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, says it is poised to bring in new reforms and ideas that would help stimulate a better working condition as well as compete favorably with the growing media world. Director General of the NTA, Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembos, gave the insight during an interactive session with the organization's newly elected executive members of both the Nigeria Union of Journalists and the Radio, Television and Theatre Arts Workers Union in Abuja. Francis Udojo reports.
So strong.
The interactive session is mainly to introduce the management newly elected executives of the chapels of NTA, NUJ and Ratau. It also created an avenue for the two unions to register their readiness to work with the leadership of NTA in achieving its set goals, while reeling out areas they want the top management to focus on. Top on the agenda is the need for upward review of poor salary scheme, staff welfare, provisions of more buses to convey staff, as well as making available an additional clinic at the DOMSAT of the NTA, and other worker-related matters were highlighted.
Whatever it is that we need to do to be able to improve our life while we are here, so that even when we are gone, we'll still be able to look at NTA and then say, this place made us. Because whether we like it or not, we are giving our all to NTA.
I and my team will bring in a new vista of purpose into this union.
Flanked by executive directors, the Director General of NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, described by the newly elected union members as a go-getter, said management had already set up two main committees to handle most of the requests put forward by the unions. He said new reforms and ideas are on the way, while urging the executives of both chapels to work in tandem with the organization to bring the desired change.
A committee has already been set up, and they are going to be given one month, that is 4 weeks, within which to report back. From there we will begin to implement. And we are also looking at the issue of revenue generation, because the chunk of what you have addressed has to do with money.
While the management of NTA is making efforts to improve the general well-being of its staff, especially regarding housing, the DG urged the staff to prepare adequately for their retirement. In Abuja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
In what clearly is a move to ensure compliance with the 5% statutory provision for employment in the public sector for persons with disabilities, the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities has set its sights on Nasarawa State. Gufan Shaji Ugwangi reports.
This time around, Kefi local government area of Nasarawa State catches the attention of the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities. The meeting/advocacy organized for the North Central Zone is to strengthen the call on MDAs to implement the statutory 5% employment allotted for persons with disabilities, as well as sensitize stakeholders on what these opportunities represent for persons with disabilities.
We have seen traces and elements of compliance, but we think that is not enough. So in the Federal Character Commission, we look forward towards partnering and enforcing this position.
The theme of the town hall meeting is employment, a necessity for a better life for persons with disabilities in Nigeria.
Despite physical challenges does not mean that mentally those people are incapacitated. So I want to tell you that our agency are ever ready in terms of inclusion, in terms of equity for every person with disability.
The Commission acknowledges the federal government's commitment to ensuring social and economic inclusion of persons with disabilities, especially in employment opportunities, but wants this commitment to translate to actual jobs for them. In Abuja, Gufanshaji Ogwanyi, NTA News.
Now, artists and creatives with disabilities in Nigeria are strategizing to assert their rights in accessing services within the creative economy. Elizabeth Omori reports that at a validation meeting for members of the disability community, key actors in arts development are of the opinion that mainstreaming their roles will promote entrepreneurship and employment creation.
In line with the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, this meeting seeks to ensure participation of such persons in the creative economy value chain to contribute meaningfully to the nation's GDP. The likes of Susan is ready to leverage such platforms for members of the disability community to thrive.
This is the first in Africa spotlighting persons with disability who are in the arts. I think this is laudable.
Life-changing initiatives by government and donor agencies, they believe, will aid enterprise and skills development.
This idea is coming at a time when the issue of disability inclusion based on disability law is already gaining traction. All we are simply saying is that federal government should also consider and include persons with disability based on the disability law.
We include people living with disability at the planning stage. So they are part, they are not segregated.
They, however, solicit inclusion in the federal government's investment in digital technology and creative industry program to showcase ingenuity in Abuja. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Let's join Olumide for stories from the world of sports.
About 8,000 women from various parts of the country are expected to take part in the 2023 Lagos Women Run on the 12th of November. The 10-kilometer race, which is one of the biggest women marathon in Africa, organizers say is focused on developing the culture of long-distance running in Lagos. The race takes off from the Tafawa Balewa Square, Onikan, and terminates at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena Stadium.
Use it to train themselves, use it to condition themselves, use it to assess themselves. And that's one of the things we've been able to do. It's like a pre-event for the elite runners.
In football, former Green Eagles player Clement Temile is promising Nigerians formidable Super Eagles players of the future, with his tentacles spread over the country under the umbrella of his football academy, Temile Football Foundation. The football initiative will also cater for ex-internationals, sick ex-players and family of deceased players, among other objectives.
I saw a lot of talent wasting. Talents, I just pass, I would see them and say, no, these people can do something. I said, I want to do something exceptional for players.
Still on football, former Super Falcons player Desire Okparanozie has tipped the team to pick a ticket to the 2024 Olympic Games, having missed out of the event for almost 15 years.
I think it's about time, and I have 100% confidence in this team that they are going to pick the ticket this time.
Super Falcons' next match is against old football rival, the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon. From the Nigerian Football League, matches slated for this weekend include Akwa United against Plateau United, Abia Warriors will entertain Katsina United, while Gombe and Doma FC will lock horns among other matches. Similarly, in the English Premier League, Manchester United will attempt to bounce back to winning ways against Fulham. It is Manchester City versus Bournemouth. Arsenal will be the guest of Newcastle United. With Sports Update, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
And that's nationwide. We thank you for watching. I'm Lami Ali. Have a good evening.